Hello, everyone. Let's have our second session that how to fly and how to become a pilot. So, in that, we will cover today the second part. Yesterday, we had a discussion about the basics that, let's say, if you are interested to become a pilot from Pakistan, then how to go about that. Pakistan is an excellent opportunity जहाँ से आप जो है लर्निंग स्किल सीख सकते हैं ये वाला फ्लाइंग वाला जो है और आज हम जो थोड़ा सा उसको आगे लेके जाएंगे आई एम गोइंग टू डिस्क्राइब यू दैट व्हाट इज द theory of flying and in that we will learn जो इसका फार्मूला है लिफ्ट का formula of lift is derived from Bernoulli's theorem which says that if the speed is increased and if pressure is increased then this is how an aircraft basically flies. It is because of its wings and its surfaces जो कि बर्नालिस थ्योरम के मुताबिक जो है उनके उनका प्रोफाइल ऐसे बनाई गई होती है अब अगर आप विंग्स को देखें तो उनकी शेप समथिंग लाइक दिस वो गुलाई में होती है डिफरेंट काइंड्स ऑफ विंग्स हैं लेकिन मैं आप बेसिक जो विंग है मैं उसकी बात कर रहा हूँ and as far as theory of flying is concerned, there is a formula. Scientifically, an aircraft flies because of this formula of aerodynamics. That is half rho v square SCL. Half rho v square SCL. So that's the basic. I don't want to prolong it much. I just want to give you an introduction that how aircraft flies, what is its theory of flying, and then parallelly I will share some of the bonus information that what are the dangers involved. Like yesterday we covered the incidents of 1990. Today we are going to cover incidents of 1920, and in that there were four aircrafts which were which met air crashes in 1920. All those four aircrafts they belong to Handley Page. Handley Page was a British firm which started manufacturing aircrafts during World War, and after the end of First World War, uh, they were modified for the commercial use, and there were so many different uses they were tested for. And in today we are going to discuss that there was the first incident which happened on 23rd February. There was a O7 Handley Page aircraft which was part of it, and what happened that it flew from its takeoff. That was from. There was an incident that actually there were experiments going on that how to fly from UK to South Africa because at that time South Africa it was giving a great opportunity of air travel. So there was one of the aircraft O7 that was applied for that. There were two pilots, and it had to after taking off from South African, airport, Acadia, Cape Town, and when it just took off, it had to force land because its rudder got rudder. Rudder is one of the surfaces which is used to move the aircraft in its vertical direction, axis. So it got failed and it had to land, and in that, this aircraft was damaged beyond repair, and both the pilots they were saved. The second incident, which happened, that was on 25th February 1920, and it happened in Sharik, airport, which is in Khartoum, Sudan, and in that an O 400 aircraft, which was an again experimental aircraft to be utilized from flying from UK to Africa. It participated in that. What happened that it sustained substantial damage in a forced landing in the desert near Al Sharik, Sudan. The airplane was engaged in an attempt to be the first aircraft to fly from London to Cape Town, South Africa. It was en route from Aswan to Khartoum at 7,800 feet When the aircraft suddenly suffered from severe oscillation and vibration as a result of a tall flutter, the pilot shut down the engines and prepared for a forced landing. The aircraft nosed down upon landing with four of the crew members. They were thrown out of the aircraft. They sustained very severe injuries, and the aircraft was completely damaged. In the third aircraft incident, which happened on 30th June, there was a Handley Page 400 involved in this accident, and it was again there was a competition between different air carriers. The aircraft used in this was a transport plane in First World War, so they converted into for transportation of postal, services from Britain to Stockholm. And this aircraft met an accident that is on to 30th June. What happened to this aircraft was that when it crossed over Obero, one of the engine caught fire due to, broken fuel line, and pilot he just closed the engine and shut down the engine and tried to force land. After a rough landing and bounce, the plane caught fire and was destroyed. And in that, it was damaged beyond repair. There were two pilots who, sustained severe injuries, and there was no loss of life. The fourth aircraft that met an accident on 14th December 1920, another Handley Page 400. It took off from London and it was supposed to land at Paris. In that, Handley Page 400 0400 operated by Handley Page Transport was damaged beyond repair in the first fatal commercial aviation disaster. The aircraft operated on a scheduled service from London to Circlewood Aerodrome to Paris, France. On board were six passengers and two crew members. Visibility was so limited that it hit the trees and it caught fire, and in that all the occupants they they got killed. So these were the four incidents which happened in 1920. Let us remember, keep this thing in our mind that at that time aviation was not very much developed. People were not knowing much. The passengers or the operators that what are the dangers involved. They did not have a complete picture of it. However, since the aircrafts were used in First World War, so they thought, why not to use it for commercial purposes, and that's how this happened. So, concluding this space, I'm in this video or my podcast. I would like to again remind you that I'm trying to familiarize people that how they can learn flying. Pakistan is a great opportunity, or anywhere in the world. The first thing we need to know is that do we have the desire to become a pilot? Second is, are we medically fit? Third is, can we afford? And by the way, the cost of flying or learning its theory, the ground studies, it's not that expensive. None of the business and none of the skill is so cheap, by the way, as compared to flying aircrafts. Maybe it has the same cost as learning small little skills, but future, there is a possibility that future is of aviation. Everyone, we know that air travel is a very important, and for that, if we learn this skill, we can become commercial pilots. We can become transport pilots. We can buy our own aircraft. We can have a hobby of flying. We can have our own private jet. And if for that there is a beginning, and I'm just introducing that how to begin with. So please, when you listen, you may put your some comment, some feedback. You can subscribe my channel, and you can press the bell icon, so that whenever there is I'm coming on live, or there is any of my podcast or my video log, you can watch it. Thank you very much. See you as soon as possible with another video about flying and how to become a pilot.